I'm gonna join an art contest with a $2,000 grand prize. The only problem is, the theme is draw your favorite flower. And I don't have a favorite flower, unless you count the kind that you can make cake with. This is a pretty solid flower. Oh no! But I need to pick a real flower, fast, and maybe get some help from my dogs? Because this artwork has to stand out if I'm actually going to win. Most artists are probably going to be painting happy bouquets and sunny fields, but I don't want happy and sunny. I want drama. I want a story about beauty surviving disaster. If I can pull this off, it can finally be the piece that proves that all of my years of practice were actually worth it. And more importantly, my wife has a Lego addiction. If I win this, I can buy her all the best Legos and extra shelf space so that I'm not stepping on little bricks every single night. Yeah! It hurts. So this $2,000 grand prize isn't just for glory or validation, it can also save my toes and possibly my marriage. But which flower could really help me make this piece unforgettable? It's time to start the hunt. I go to parks and gardens and find nothing, until finally I found the most amazing flowers. Unfortunately, my dogs peed on them, so now it just reminds me of a bathroom. And there is no way I'm going to be drawing a toilet flower. That'd be weird. So I went to the greatest place you can go to find flowers. The greatest place you can go to find anything. The internet. I type in pink and blue flowers and boom! Hydrangeas. This is my flower. Now that I know what flower is going to inspire the artwork, it's time to get to the next part of this, the sketch. And I thought the best thing that can accompany a beautiful flower is a beautiful woman. I'm gonna draw my OC, Zuri. I love drawing her, so this is the perfect excuse for me to do that. I start with the basic rough sketch of the character, and remember, I don't want to be like everyone else who I believe is going to draw happy, fun, sunny scenes. I want mine to invoke feeling, and to do that, we need to tell a story. But first, let's finish this sketch. Sketch done, but it's way too sloppy, so I need to refine this sketch. So I'm gonna have to trace over it and completely get rid of any of the mistakes and sloppy lines. But I forgot to tell you that I have magical powers. That was fast. With my refined sketch done, it's time to move on to the inking. I lower the opacity of my sketch and just trace over it with black outlines, using a variety of thick and thin lines. Ooh, nice lines. Inking done, now it's time to add some color. For this, I just use a paint bucket and drop in those colors. Now I can move on to the shadows and rendering. Oh wait, there's an important step before that. The background. Remember I mentioned earlier that I need to tell a story. And well, obviously her expression and the way she's holding the flowers are going to tell that story, but the background is really going to help set the scene. I'm literally drawing the scene. So I want my story to be that there was a forest fire and she helped save the last few flowers. So I drew in some dead tree logs in the background and I wanted to add some photo bashing. I got a photo of hydrangeas online and put them directly into the scene, but I need them to look more painterly or drawn. So I add a blur to get rid of some of those details, and then I go to filter gallery, And then I use a cutout filter. This makes it look more like a drawing, like a comic book. It gives it that cel-shaded look that I use in my normal style. I continue to edit these flowers, making it look more blended in some areas and leaving in that cel-shaded look in others. I know my background isn't completely finished right now. I just really want to finish my character. I'm just so excited to see how she's going to turn out. Just when I was about to really lock in on that artwork, I got a call on my phone.
So I saw this Lego set that I really want. If only there was a handsome, amazing artist who would get it for me.
Handsome? Amazing? Where are you gonna find somebody like that?
Oh, she means me.
All right, adding it to the cart, and it's
$849?
fingers crossed that this contest goes well, because otherwise she's going to need to find another handsome, amazing artist. All this stress for only one subscriber? I better get back to work. I add a soft shadow onto the character, and I know it looks a little weird, but just trust the process. I lower the opacity down so that it's barely noticeable, and I do that so that the final rendering of the character has a slight blend to it, because don't forget, I like to use cel shading. I add a cel shaded layer of shadows to the skin and lower the opacity of that one too, so that the two layers kind of work together to get the effect that I'm looking for. You can do as many cel shaded layers as you want. I usually do a soft shadow layer and 2 hard shadow layers, maybe a third for those extreme darks. And then I also do cel shaded layers for the lights, usually 2 or 3 as well. Don't forget, you can soften those edges in certain places as well if you want to get more of a blended look, which is what I do in my style. I was liking the way the dress was looking, but something was missing. Some texture. I found this awesome texture online and I wanted to do some more photo bashing, like I did for those flowers. I added this texture to the dress, set it to overlay, and lowered the opacity, because I don't want it to be too overpowering. I continue to add more rendering and I got to a place where I'm actually happy with it. I think she's coming out kind of awesome. But I need to add some more to the environment. I add some fire to the environment because, well, there's a forest fire. I add some sparks and some flames in the background, add some depth by blurring out some of those trees, and then I want to get rid of some of those outlines. I know, I worked hard on some of those outlines, made sure that I had a variety of thick and thin lines, and I loved them. But I like for my outlines to share the colors that are around them, but I make them slightly darker so that you can still see them. And sometimes taking the color exactly so that it looks like the lines disappear. Once again, I finish the line art, and it's time to add some rim light. With the lighting coming from behind her and from the fire and also above her, you're gonna get some kind of a glow around her. You also want to make sure that she matches the environment, so some of that fire will be shining a bright red or orange onto things that are around it, including the character. I add some finishing touches like my halftones, and here she is, my favorite flower, Zuri. Will it be enough to win this contest?
It's time for me to submit.
The results are finally in. After years and years of practicing, I joined many art contests, dozens, hundreds maybe, and I'm yet to win. But I've improved so much since then. I've gotten so much better. I've practiced every single day, honing my craft, becoming the greatest artist that I can ever be. I am a great artist. I am a great artist. I am a great artist. And I lost? What? How? This is awesome. Wait a second. What does that say? I can submit more than one artwork. So I'm going to try again. And next time, it'll be awesome. I think. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this piece and how could I have made it better. And if you liked this video, you can watch this one right here. It's awesome. Click it. Please. Baby, I can't get your Legos.
Ooh, you suck.